Hello, 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 hello. Today is not Tuesday. Today is Thursday, and I'm so excited that today we will finally release the Grow Challenge that we talked about last month. For those of you I haven't met, my name is T. Carter. I am the creator and founder of Tea Talk Tuesday and the Grow Challenge. And the Grow Challenge was created to give us a blueprint so that we can get ready to overcome and win. And so I want to thank you for joining me, whether you're watching live or the replay. Don't take it lightly that you've taken time out of your Tuesday or whatever day you may be watching this to just get the information that I believe will be a blessing to you. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm not going to delay the hour. If you follow me at all, you know I don't believe in being on here a long time. But again, as we said, today, our purpose is to just release the Grow Challenge, where it allows us to get ready and overcome and win. Sometimes we focus so much on winning that we don't necessarily discover why we haven't won, what I haven't overcome. Some things I need to come over, rise above. Some of these things that keep me bound are things that I'm not able to overcome. And so I just want to encourage you today as we move forward that the Grow Challenge has been released. I am here to go ahead and release this. So we'll go ahead and get started. And so the first thing that we need to do, a lot of times, knowing that we need to change or knowing that we need to grow is not necessarily enough. We need to really understand the why and the what behind what we're decided that we're endeavoring to do. And so one thing that I found helpful in my own endeavor to grow and change into the person that I believe that I'm called to be is to really take some time to go through some very elementary questions, but to really be honest with myself about these questions and the answers to them, as they will help to guide my next actions. And so the first question is, what area do I need to grow in? Um, then the second question is, what areas have I outgrown? I don't know about you, but sometimes as women, we have clothes and we have things that, although they no longer fit and they have the capacity to hold us, we hold on to them when we try to squeeze into them, and some of us, our feet testify that the shoes are too small, or they're marks after we put on pants that we no longer fit. And so what areas have I outgrown, and then what areas do I just need to grow up? Because some of us know what we need to do, but we haven't taken intentional effort to grow up. And so the first three questions, again, they are on the screen. What areas do I need to grow in? What areas have I outgrown? And what areas do I need to grow up? And after we answer those three questions, the next question is, what am I willing to change? It's not enough for me to know that I need to change. Like, there's a lot of things that I know that I need to do, but what am I willing to do? Am I willing to get up earlier to have more time to prepare healthy meals? Am I willing to save more instead of spend? What is it that I'm honestly willing to do? And then the fifth question is, why do I want to change? Right? Do I have a reason that is my own, that I'm not doing this because I know it's good to do or because someone is encouraging me to do it? But is it really something that in my own heart, I know that this is something that I need to do for me, regardless of other people? And so after we finish the self-discovery questions, what we need to do is identify the areas. And so there are 5 areas of growth that I've outlined for personal growth. There could be more. I can grow in my calling, and I can be called to a job or profession or ministry or business. I can grow in my finances by learning how to save, spend wisely, to invest, or even have protection. In this case, it's going to be life insurance. I can grow in my time that I learned to how to just have downtime, because that's challenging for some of us to have downtime and really invest in a hobby or interest or travel or creating new experiences that give me time to recreate and just relax and come out of my normal day to day. Definitely can grow in relationships, whether that be the relationship I have with myself, my spouse, or my partner, my family, my friends, or even my relationship with God. And then finally, we can grow in wellness, whether it be mental health, the way that I feel about myself, the way that I feel about my relationships with others, or my physical wellness, whether that be increasing my activity or the way that I eat, improving that. And once we go through all of that, we must remember that growth requires patience. And so it's not enough to have a seed. We also have to have a plan of action. A weed will grow everywhere, but a seed will only harvest in an environment that is conducive to the seed that I've planted. And so we need to make sure that as we have our seeds, that the soil is right. We're putting in the right amount of effort, our environment, and our time. All of that is accurate. And so just want to encourage you, because sometimes we start out strong. I don't know about you, but um, I've started working out more than once and then got discouraged because I didn't see the outcome that I was expecting after I worked out for 2 hours and I didn't lose, 3 pounds. This is not working. And so I gave up on my seed before it had the ability to really produce a harvest. And so I just want to encourage you that if I'm committed to growth, I must also be committed to waiting to see the result of that thing that I'm wanting to grow in. The Bible says there is seed time and there is harvest time, and they are not the same. And so once I plant my seed, there is a period of time before I receive the harvest that I'm believing God for. And then there are stages of growth. And this is, I think, sometimes where we get really caught up, because we have a seed, and I don't know about you, but I would love to go from the seed to the mature fruit. But we have to understand that there is a process, and there are things that happen that may not indicate that my seed is working because it's underground. But just because I can't see my seed working, it doesn't mean that my seed isn't working. But the first thing that we must remember is that I have to have a seed, right? And the seed means that I have to be willing to sow. If you look at the illustration, there is a fruit with seeds. So what am I doing with my fruit? Because if I eat the fruit, am I also eating the seed? So I have to be diligent enough to, number one, understand what my seed is, and then to plant it, and then go through the process and not get upset before my seed sprouts. And then I have a sapling, and then I have a small tree. I must be committed to the full life cycle of seed time and harvest if I'm going to produce what God has said. And after that, we need a plan, because a lot of times, like, we get so excited about what God has promised us and what we're going to do. And we're saying 2023 is going to be a new year. But, last year may be the same if my mindset is the same. So no matter what is in the atmosphere, I still have to make sure that I'm doing the work. The Bible says that Isaac planted in the time of famine, and in the same year received 100-fold. But if I didn't plant, then I'm not going to receive it. And if I planted, it's because I was intentional, because I knew something was coming. And so in order to grow, we need to have an effective plan. The Bible says to write the vision and make it plain. And so the first thing that we need to do is identify the area that I really want to grow in. To develop a personal growth plan is really thinking about what I want. Can I see myself saving money? Can I see myself, with a new boo, if that's what I want? Can I see myself with a job or an education or graduating, no matter what that is? And then the second thing is to discover, why do I want what I want? Is it really because it is something that is internal that I believe that God is calling me to? Or am I trying to fulfill a void in me by replacing it with someone else? And so, if I lose 50 pounds, is it because I want to be healthy, or I just want people to look at me and I want to feel like I fit in? Do I want to save money for a new car because I really feel like I need a new car? Or is it because I'm trying to achieve a status symbol? So discovering the why is going to be an important part of this process. And then after we do that, we need to specify. We need to be specific. Even in life, there are natural roadblocks. If you go to plant a seed, the first thing that I must understand is, what is the climate? And then what are the natural enemies? And so as we go through this process, have I taken the time to identify what are the barriers that I may encounter along my path to growth, and what I need to do to remove them? Am I, sometimes it ain't the devil. If I'm trying to lose weight, I don't need to go down the cookie aisle. I don't need to go, to the store when I'm hungry. If I'm trying to save money, then I really need to probably go ahead and close my Amazon account, which y'all, Amazon, I can't. But there are things that I need to do to make sure that I'm in a place to receive what I believe that I'm going to receive in the season. And then the other thing, we talked about this a little and specify, is to align, to prevent self-sabotage by unlocking internal conflicts before we even create this plan. Because wherever I am, there's a reason for it. If I'm stuck in a situation or I'm stuck in a place, there is a reason. Uh, there's a reason for it. And so, if I've tried to like really get my credit together 60 times and it hasn't worked any of the 60 times, and there's a reason for it. So before I really go in and create the plan, I need to be honest and aligned and say, what did I learn the other 60 times? And what am I going to do differently this time? And then after we do all of that, then we need to document it, right? Because we need to have a visual proof of the plan so that when I don't feel like it or I'm discouraged or things aren't working the way that I want them to work, I have something that I can refer back to that reminds me of the vision and what I need to do. And so those are the 5 steps for creating an effective plan. We need to identify, discover, specify, align, and then document that. And then what we need to do also is to understand that there are some gaps that we encounter along the way that prevent our forward progress. And so this is where my goals get stuck. No, the first one is the assumption gap. Well, I just assume that I automatically grow. If I put myself in a position or I do these things and I said I want to lose weight and, maybe I ate one Slim Fast shake, that's enough. I just assume that will be enough. It's not. So I really need to check my assumptions. The second one is a knowledge gap. If I don't know how to grow, then I need to be honest to say, this is an area that I don't know and seek wise counsel or do research. The third one is timing. It's not the right time to begin. And sometimes we have to be realistic. If we're under a lot of stress or there's a lot of things going on in our lives and we are stress eaters, is that the right time to start a diet? Or do we really need to identify the trigger and resolve that so we can be in an appropriate time? So timing is going to be very important. And then the mistake gap. Like, I'm afraid of making mistakes. The reality is, when we start to learn or grow in anything, that mistakes are a part of the process. But if I make a mistake, am I able to move forward, learn from it, and keep going? Or when I make a mistake, does that signal to me that this is never going to work, and so I just give up? And then this is the one that I struggle with. I think other people struggle with it also, is the perfection gap. Like, I have to find the best way to do it before I even get started. Like, this thing has to be perfect or I'm not going to do it. It's all or nothing. And so really to understand that growth is a process and the process grows with me as I grow. And so to give myself grace and to also give myself patience to understand that I'm learning and I'll be stronger today than I was yesterday, and I'll learn more and I'll make mistakes, but I'll grow and learn from them. And then it's the inspiration gap, because when I started through this process, I was really gung-ho and I was really like, yes, I'm going to do this and everything is going to be great. But then something happened and now I just don't feel like doing it anymore. I don't feel like going through this process anymore. And so I just don't feel like doing it. What happens when I don't feel like doing what I know I've been called to do? What happens when I don't feel like putting forth effort, even though it's something that's going to be pivotal to me achieving what I say that I'm believing for in this season? And then we have 2 more. The comparison gap is that others can do it better. Others do it better, or others are better than me. At the end of the day, what I've been called to do, no one can do it better than me. You may be able to do it differently and you may get a better result. But at the end of the day, my only competition is myself. And so I'm glad for you if you lose 10 pounds in 10 days. But if I lose my half a pound, I'm still making progress regardless of what other people have done. And then finally is the expectation gap. We expect things will be differently than what they are. Like, I didn't expect this to be so hard. I didn't expect, for this to be so challenging. I thought this would be easier. And now I get into a process and I find out that it's really much harder or more difficult than I expected. At that point, what am I going to do? Am I going to change the plan and keep the goal, or am I going to give up? And so just want to call out these 8. I think they were critical. And 8 also consequently as the number of new beginnings. So as we're growing, we are going into new. But where do my goals get stuck? And what am I going to do to overcome these traps? So this time, I don't have a false start. This time I don't give up. This time I don't throw in the towel. I look at the challenges that come up as I'm on my growth journey and I continue to grow because that's what I deserve and that's what I'm called to do. And then the other thing that we need to understand is that there are triggers and there are threats. Like if it was that easy to grow, everyone would grow. If I didn't have to overcome everything and I wouldn't have any challenges, then I would just be able to grow and move forward. But what we need to understand is that every time that I do something and it doesn't work out the way that I want, I learned something. So, what have I learned from the past? What has my experience taught me? And then, what do I still need to learn? Where do I need to educate myself? Where do I need to become more informed? And then, in my emotions, what are my triggers? In my emotions, what triggers me to give up? What triggers me to throw in the towel? What triggers me? How do I keep my emotions balanced so that I can go through this journey? And really, the environment. Are my current conditions suitable for the growth that I want? Do I need to first fix my environment so it will be conducive for growth? Or, is there something else that I need to do? Because if my house is on fire, I may love to paint, but painting while my house is on fire is not going to be it's not going to make any sense because even what I'm painting is going to be burned up. And so really need to check the environment. And then finally, to be honest about the effort. Am I willing to put forth the required effort consistently? Am I willing to wake up every day and make a commitment to do what I believe that I need to do in order to have this experience in my life? So putting it all together, what we need to do is document the goals that we want to achieve and why we want to achieve them, and then prioritize what goals are going to be the most important. If you're like me, there are a lot of things that I need to do. There are many plans in my heart, but what is the prioritization? And then schedule deadlines to say, if I want to lose 10 pounds, how long is it going to take me? Am I going to meal prep 3 days a week? Am I going to work out 5 days a week? Whatever that looks like, to have that, and then to measure your progress and adjust as needed. So maybe it didn't work out the way that I anticipated. Maybe, I need to save more money. Maybe I need to do something else, but really to assess my process along the way. And then finally, to explore, to be willing to leave the comfort zone to deal with challenges and threats. And then really want to focus on growth is a personal journey. It's not an external journey. So I really have to be self-aware and focus on my individual thoughts, actions, and emotions. And do they align with what I want? And I really need to have knowledge about my own mental state, my processes, and my disposition. I need to be focused on my own self-development and be committed to learning new things. And I need to master myself individually, meaning I need to have the ability to control my own desires, emotions, and impulses. And so that is all for the growth challenge. If you believe that this will be beneficial to anyone else, we do encourage you to tag, comment, and share. This was just a very brief overview of the growth challenge. We will do a personal growth masterclass if this is something that you are focused on for 2023 and would like to be surrounded by like-minded people to help you on this progress. We will on this journey and help to get encouragement as you progress. We will have a personal growth masterclass in February of 2023. So we will post a sign-up sheet for that at the beginning of February. Again, my name is T. Carter. Thanks so much for taking time out of your Thursday or whatever day you're watching this to just get information on how you overcome. How do I come over where I am so that I can win and I can achieve all that God has called me to be? And so with that, we're going to close out. I want to thank you so much for joining and watching. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to respond to you, to answer those questions, and do my best to get back to you within, I would say, one business day. Other than that, we want to wish you a great rest of your week and your Thursday. You're watching the replay. Thanks so much for joining. We will see you guys next Tuesday for TikTok Tuesday. Until then, you guys go be blessed. Have a great day.